Let's see if it's working this time. I'll open the door. Try and improve the signal. Hello, everybody. I tried to get online earlier on. The signal was terrible, but it seems to be resolved itself now. The morning after the Special Olympics, Special Brew Olympics. Oh my God! On social media, the fucking people are losing their shit over the Olympic opening ceremony, which is just a joke anyway. There seemed to be, from what I gather, I didn't watch. I don't watch any shit like that. You have to remember that the Olympics was founded. The modern Olympics was founded for the purpose of training men for war. So it was never ever about sport. It was always about kind of colonialism and Freemasonry and readying officers. You know, I used to years ago, when I was growing up, I used to call it it's a knockout for posh people, because ordinary people had no real interest in the Olympics. It was very much a kind of a, you know, those who don't know what it's a knockout is, was a really stupid show on the BBC where they had all these countries in Europe competing against each other in these stupid events. But the Olympics to me was the same thing. I never saw it any other way. And yeah, so they are losing their shit this morning over it. Now apparently one of the biggest gripes they're having is they got a bunch of drag queens and trannies reenacted Leonardo da Vinci's The Last Supper. And they're saying Barry Moore's voice, Barry Drumore voice, blaspheme, Lorraine, they're blaspheming, you know. Barry Drumore, you know, like, and I wish you'd make your minds up, because whenever I mention Christianity and put it down on videos or what I don't like about it, I don't care what you worship. Your religion is your own business. That's, you know, I'll respect your right to worship any religion. But whenever I take criticism of Christianity, they always say, "Oh no, Thomas, you're mistaken. You know, that's not the Christianity of Jesus. I follow the Christianity of Jesus, not of the Catholic Church." And so why are you pissed off at the desecration of that painting? Because Jesus Christ, the original Christians, were iconoclasts. They were Second Temple rabbinical Jews who were forming a new branch of Judaism, and central to Orthodox Judaism and Second Temple rabbinical Judaism is the prohibition on idols, on producing icons. And so they were iconoclasts, the early Christians. So why are you being upset about that? Secondly, that painting was painted on the wall of a church in Milan that was originally the site of a Celtic pagan temple that you guys stole, you know. So, you know, look at all the priests you burlesqued and everything back in the day, and the priestesses, and what you did to them in you know, for all the temples of the ancient pagan world. When you remove the unclean idols, which and now all of a sudden you're obsessed about it, an unclean, what your original Christian people would have called it, an unclean idol, like Leonardo da Vinci's painting. And so yeah, people are losing their shit over it. I think it's just a joke. It always has been. Even the 2012 one, I don't know what to make of it. It's real ritualism. I think it's just trolling. I really do. I just think it's like the establishment mocking people like you, knowing you will get upset about it, and losing your rag over it. And I think a lot of that has to do with it as well. I think in the case of Paris this year, a lot of it has to do with the Muslims in the city attacking Christians. Now, Christians have been saying things like today online, so, oh, you notice how they didn't do anything to mock Muslims, did they? They only mocked Christians. Well, my Christian friends, isn't that what I've been telling you for years? You're weak and docile and timid because of your religion. If we still lived in pagan times and they were doing that to statues of, you know, Vulcan, or mocking the boatmen of the Seine, the pagans would just walk down out of the stadium and kill all the drag queens. That's what they would do. But no, you're weak and timid. You turn the other cheek. You pick up thy bed and give it to the stranger. How's that working out for you again down there in Coolock and everywhere else, you know, and Dover. And you love thy neighbour and you love thy enemy. Yeah, this is what you're getting, man. This is what you got. Like that song by Public Image Limited. This is what you want. This is what you get. This is what you want. This is good. Bad life. But yeah, so it's fun. To me, it's more entertaining seeing people losing their shit over that shite than it is the actual shite itself. I mean, it's just that, I mean, and the one Olympics opening that was amazing was the 2004 Olympics in Athens, where they had the history of Greece told in people painted up like statues or Minoans. Oh my God, that was astounding. I remember when that was on, I watched it again, the replay that night, and I recorded it on my DVD player. I had a recordable, did it? Or whatever I record, I did record it. No, I had a DVD, a recordable DVD, I think, or VHS, I can't remember, but I kept it because it was like the opening of the 2004 Olympics in Athens was like, you know, a monument to paganism. It was fantastic, but it was so well done. All the Grecian and Hellenic art going by. Oh my God, that was the real deal. That one. But they've always had. That was the only one that wasn't weird. That one was magnificent. But they've always been kind of stupid, you know, like weird. But they've always been weird. Do you remember the closing ceremony of the 1984 Olympics in Los Angeles, where a spaceship flies in over the stadium in LA, the Olympic Stadium, and lands, and then an alien gets out and goes, "We from our planet approve of this great coming together of your people." And I was like, really strange, really bizarre, and but also kind of creepy. That one was truly creepy because it was half me was thinking at the time, is that a real alien or something, or is that a real demon or something? But you know, the one in London was just bizarre. I know people say, well, COVID and all that stuff, but I think that was a celebration of the National Health Service and how all the lives it saved. I think that's what, you know, like, remember in Britain, the lefties of Britain, their religion is the NHS. That's their religion. That's what they worship. And I think that's what was going on there. But it was weird, like a weird baby being born in a pool and all that stuff. But you can take that stuff way too far. I think none of it is actually think is there to like. It's trolling. That's what I think. It's just making fun of you. It's taking the piss out of people. But who cares about the Olympics? I don't. I never cared about it. And you know, so many of the athletes are tanked up on all kinds of drugs. You know, that's the big thing. You know, like the Olympics, unfortunately, it's not like the old days where they did it for, you know, for medals. They're not doing it for big money and sponsorships, and the drugs are a big time part of it. Do you remember a famous American lady? I can't remember her name, Jocelyn or something. Jocelyn something, I think her name was. She was an American runner, and she won all kinds of medals. And she also used to advertise asthma medication on American TV. And the whole skit was that she was, even though she was asthmatic, this medication she could still win medals. She was using that asthma inhaler to give herself steroids. Yeah, imagine that. It's so deceptive. And she died young too from the steroids. And I remember reading or hearing that she died during the middle of some big athletic competition, and a big cheer went around the Olympic Village when they heard she was dead, because she was well known as a cheater who used her inhaler to take steroids pretending it was asthma. But anyway, yeah, it's always been it's been a dirty business for a long time, but it's just so funny to read, see people losing their minds, the most ungodly truthers, people who don't have a spiritual element to any part of they're mocking us, they're mocking Christ, they're mocking, and then people say it's Western religion. No, it's not. Christianity is not Western religion. Western religion is paganism. That's a Middle Eastern religion, which reminds me, I've started. I want a second read of this because it's not easy. Of Cyclopedia by Raza. I will be able to say it one day. Naga Arstani, about the concept of this will change your mind. This will blow your mind. Stop worrying about the Olympics and start educating yourself on things like this. The concept of oil being a god created by, but became sentient by the pressures of the earth, and how the Middle East became a kind of a god, and how the Arab and the Mohammedan is obsessed with flatness, and unless it's an oil derrick or a minuet or something that's a monument to the oil god, like Dubai, a monument to the oil god they worship, and how it spreads war throughout the earth too because it's jealous of us venerating the sun. Oh, it's amazing stuff. And there's so many and so many of my own stuff about megaliths and stuff like that. Wow. By the way, I'm talking at the Shine seminar in it's near Bristol or Gloucester, in the south of England next weekend, and I'm on the. I think it's on the I'm speaking on a Sunday with Maria Wheatley. We're doing two separate talks, but me and Maria will be doing another talk in Glastonbury as a kind of a double header with the AV people in October. But next weekend, if you're in the south of England, southwest of England, come and see me if you can. If you're doing nothing at the Shine seminar, I think you can get 1 day tickets. I don't think you have to go for the whole thing. You can check it, but it's SHINE seminars, and it's near Gloucester, Bristol, that part of England. You know, like where Wales meets kind of like the West Country, in that area there. But it's if you're coming from Ireland, you can fly into Birmingham and take a train from Birmingham International to Gloucester, and they have it like a shuttle bus to pick you up, and there's also like a regular bus service right to the festival service from the Gloucester town buses. So if you're there next weekend, we'll not do anything next weekend, come along and say hello. I'll be doing a little talky-walky, a little lecture on all the things I talk about, me in the flesh. And it seems like a very nice event with lots of nice people and so on, so we have fun. And yeah, so this is not the time to be like, screaming about Illuminati, symbolism, Satanism, and all that satanic sort of, right, come on here with the wall, like, no, that kind of stuff. It's a time for knowledge and education and enlightenment and creativity. For some reason, I've been having nothing but visions and dreams of a single stone tower in a landscape. And I've always been kind of fascinated by, I wrote a book on the round towers of Ireland. But not just round towers, any kind of tower. Just put a solitary tower in the middle of a landscape. I just keep having a vision, whatever reason, I don't know why, whether it's me or something in the world. And I've been like, doodling in my sketchbook. I don't know if you can see that, can you? Tower, I can't see. You do tower there. Just like, this kind of thing. I don't know why. Interesting though. And so what happened this last week politically in the world? I don't talk about politics because I care about political things, but I'm interested in how it affects the psychic weather. That was a weird belch, did you hear that? How it affects the psychic weather and how it affects, the zeitgeist and stuff like that. I'm absolutely convinced now that Kamala Harris is Quran's 333. I'm absolutely convinced of it. I've written an article on my Substack about it, and overnight it got something like 20,000 views. And she is the babbler in the abyss. And my theory that the woke and all the purple head troglodytes, Cenobites, that's the demon world on a full-fledged invasion of this reality. And the only thing they lack now is one of their own in the big job. Who's the most ideal candidate for the job? Quran's on. Who's Quran's on in human flesh right now? Who's the babbler in the abyss? Miss Unburdened, who speaks in babble and who speaks in confusion and chaos. So we're heading into very interesting times. Will she destroy the world? Probably. Do I care? Not much I can do about it. Hopefully she doesn't. But something I had a powerful vision there last week before she was even nominated. It was like right after Trump had been shot and survived. It popped into my head. Kamala Harris is going to be U.S. president. Don't ask me. Well, I know why. Because all they have to do is all they have to do is have all the right advertisements on American television. Lilting music, ding ding ding, and she goes, "I believe in America, where the children are all equal, and the dreams of children are dreams that adults can dream too." Ding 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 ding, and these dreams are so beautiful. They remind me of when I was a little girl, wherever I grew up, and they're so beautiful. Let's make America dream together. And she'll stop all the cackling. And they'll have this, her girlfriend, that whole thing. They'll say that's like our street cred. That's what they'll say. And lots of lilting music, sponsored by Harris for President 2024. And she'll have a book come out, and it'll be called well, Obama had the audacity of hope. They always have a title that means nothing. It takes a village. Her one will have something like, you know, you know, the road to joy or something like that. It'd be pseudo kind of Hay House publishing type title, and all the sort of Karens in America will all run and vote for her anyway. But all the others, even ones who are hardcore Trumpers, they'll see those ads and go, and they'll be spellbound by it. And if she does win, it'll be without cheating, because most, as you look, from the scandemic and the lockdown, most people are idiots. They don't deserve to vote. They shouldn't be allowed to vote. That's why I'm in favour of a dictatorship. I despise democracy. And then they say, but Mr. Sheridan, dictatorships are bad. They don't have to be. They don't have to be. A dictatorship gets things done. It gets people protected. Right now, we are up shit creek without a paddle. And the people who are supposed to be running our societies have even taken the canoe off us. So we're canoeless up shit creek and paddleless. And then they're telling us that democracy is the best system of all. It's not shit. It's not. I want Julius Caesar. I want Napoleons. I want people like that. I want warriors like that. It's what they take away our democracy. They take away democracy from us and say it's stronger democracy. But yeah, this is the mentality of these people. It's incredible. But that's why you can't have any hope. But observe it as an interesting thing, Kamala for president, this kind of thing. Yeah, I mean, all they have to do is think, people will fall for schmaltz, no problem. I've always seen, and you'll have like the Clinton Foundation who runs the Irish mainstream media, talking about how she's been misunderstood and she's a diamond that just needed polishing that we never noticed at the bottom of the drawer. These kinds of headlines, and she's learned her craft as a statesperson. The whole thing, like the first black lady, black Indian, person of color, woman president of America. And that might be why Obama hasn't endorsed her, because maybe the plan was to have his Mrs. Michelle Obama, is that her name, to become president. And he was told, no more Obamas. Your job is done. Go back and spend your billions. And that could be the reason why. Maybe, I don't know. But there's no doubt that Trump is a magical being, or at least protected by magical forces. And I've been saying that since 2015, while everyone else in the occult scene was going, we must join the resistance to fight Trump. Yeah, fucking idiots. It's like that's when he discovered who the real occultist, alchemists, shamans, mystics were, the ones in 2015. He says, hold on a second, Trump is something interesting going on with this guy. And all the others, but most of them had Trump derangement syndrome. And the ones who wrote up their astrology charts saying that Hillary would win, did any of them resign afterwards? Who remembers Alex Gray? Alex Gray, mystical, spiritual painter of the shamanic worlds, Mr. Shamanic Technologies, paints a picture of Obama as the Godhead. For fuck's sake. And there's me being slagged off because I'm going, oh man, I think Trump, there's something really powerful and magical about him. You see, because people are such dingbats, they think when I said that I'm somehow endorsing the Republican Party. It became very apparent to me earlier on that Trump wasn't a Republican. If anything, he was a JFK-type Democrat in terms of his policy. And he certainly wasn't a neocon like the neocons we've been used to. And Obama's a neocon, Hillary Clinton are neocons, they proved that in Libya. But yeah, amazing, So, it's amazing times to be living in and to experience these things and to talk about them. And yet there is a spiritual war going on. It is between good and evil. Whatever evil is, whatever you define evil is, to me, it would be less of sort of like Mr. Bourne sitting down and running the world, and more a case of we're dealing with this sort of like stupid being, monster, Lovecraftian entity that's jealous and psychotic. And, the Jehovah oil. You know, I'm telling you, this book has changed so much for me. Well, it hasn't changed because I still believe all the things I believed. The hardest part of it is there's a lot of Arabic words and a lot of Persian words. So it's like you have to like stop and that kind of thing. And it's written in that theory fiction academic style, so it's not a quick read. But I found it enthralling to the point where I'm going the second reading is to try and get a better understanding. But it's made me think about everything like our ancestors and stones, geology. Were they worshipping geology because it was a symbol of something, you know? Or was it the actual geology itself, which is what oil is, right? Or what made oil, right? Now, there's lots of ways of looking at this, right? So, oil was made sentient by tremendous pressures of geology crushing down upon it on the earth, right? Now, so our ancestors realized maybe that geology kept this entity at bay under the earth as a Shatanic being. With the discovery of the use of, well, really the combustion engine, it gave power to these monstrous individuals like the Rockefeller family and these horrible Arab oil families, right? Gave them power. And so we have this cosmic battle between the sun and even the round towers. Like the round towers, you know, Philip S. Callahan was the one who discovered that they take power from the sun and they transform it into diamagnetic energy. And it just goes on and on. Like I'm still working out in my head. Like my friend Jason Heppenstall, who so many of you know, he said the other day he watched a film about the book. He hasn't read the book yet, a documentary that's online, and he said that made him think about did we invent the combustion engine to kill the oil demon in the Middle East or under the ground? Did we invent it to kill that thing? And it's now in mortal danger. So it creates things like Just Stop Oil, and also the environmental movement, the Stop Drilling movement, in order to keep itself alive. And our sort of quest as a human being is to kill oil on behalf of the sun god. It's just amazing when you start thinking about it really deeply. And then, you know, like you hear, you know, Trump, like I said, is definitely being an individual, has the gods at his back. There's no doubt about that. And then he goes, and we will drill, baby, drill. You know? And then I think of all the people, you know, that I think of like, you know, okay, you shouldn't have fracking wrecking water supplies and everything. But the if oil is, and oil seems to be an enemy of man. It created the Abrahamic world. It created the Abrahamic religions. It's created jihad. You know, he speculates, Raza Nagarastani, he speculates that like jihad is oil. It's oil. And you think about like even like now Paris. What does the Eiffel Tower look like? An oil derrick, you know? And they don't like tall towers and they tear them down. And all part of their whole thing of tearing down tall things like, and they worship a black box, you know? It just goes on and on. And they're useless without their oil. The Arab is useless without oil. Much to think about. Now, I'm not saying the Arab, look, anything bad with Arab people, but I mean like their power. Their power in the world is the oil. The oil, but maybe they're victims of it. Maybe they're the initial victims of it, as well as especially the Persians, you know. And then you have like they want to start a war with Iran, and what's really come down? It comes down to oil. What is the Middle East about? Israel, oil. You know, the whole thing, oil. And why did Hitler destroy the Third Reich to try and capture the oil fields in the Caucasus? Oil. Much to think about. And I might make a second video later. Take care. Love yous all. Bye.